We're live.
Hello.
Yay! Hey guys.
I'm behind a mountain of foam.
You're pretty, it's okay. Oh no, there is a mountain of fun in your face. Can you make that mountain higher?
No.
Hide him.
No.
Hide the stream. The stream. Stream, I like it. The screaming stream.
The screaming stream.
This is the best art ever. Wow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Streaming Ones. I'm lead writer Joshua Deitch, otherwise known as Scrivenermancer on the forums, and this is...
Romain Tilty, lead designer of the Secret World, and in a completely crazy mind state right now. Been running a lot in the last...
He's barely here with us right now.
Yeah, my brain is kind of blank, so bear with me, this might be amusing. But let's go back to things. We have Sesmra with us.
Hello, cookies.
Yay!
I'm
Cookies.
back. I'm back to cause mayhem.
Yes.
She's back to Cause Mayhem.
She's
Mayhem and
returned.
madness.
The stars are aligned, and she's returned.
Yes. What am I doing?
Well, you can't forget the very important mention.
So let's just jump into this and try to make this a bit less embarrassing than it already is.
This is just all a nightmare. You're about to wake up to your alarm clock.
No, I'm like, I still got time, right?
Oh my God, you're in your underwear!
Oh no! Oh,
Stop! Just don't look down.
That's right, okay.
I'm going
Some
on.
people.
Pants are tyrannous comfort.
I know we should start doing a pantless version. One day we'll just stand up and you guys will be blinded
We
forever.
might be pantless right now.
Awkward.
There's no way for them to know.
Awkward. And okay, moving on. So today we're gonna be looking at issue 7. Starting looking a little bit at our friend Emma and Lilith. Going to one of our issues were based on the whole James Bond theme, and all those kind of things. We'll be breaking the fourth wall again at some point in the stream. So again, if you guys don't want to see any kind of craziness about the games and understand how we do some kind of designs behind things, you'll be able to look away and
The last time kind of broke
Close
my
your ears.
mind. I didn't know the last train of Cairo was like that. Like seeing the world that way.
oh yeah, that's true. That was before your times.
Yeah,
So-
yeah,
was
yeah.
wicked.
Issue 7
We
was my
were
first
crazy kids back then.
full issue.
It was,
This
yeah.
is my well, not my introduction to the Secret World. I worked on the lore before then, but this is the first time I was a
full-time writer doing like it was you and Joel, I think, who wrote most of the text and everything. But before we get into
Yes.
all that boring things, let's get to the cool stuff. This is gonna have cool prizes that we'll be giving out throughout the stream. Sesmra will be. We'll just
Yes,
get
I'll
to,
I got you. I got you. Got your prize support ready to go.
she's the cool one. I mean, we're just here to be like fodder in between
Yes.
the cool.
We're
The
just
cool
her
prize.
puppets.
Do you want to tell us a bit more about the prizes we'll be giving out?
We'll be giving away 600 bonus points, 1,200 bonus points, and a Franken chopper. I mean,
Motorcycle.
yeah.
Conveyance.
So stay tuned for that. We'll be giving away the 600 points first, then the 1,200, and then later you got to stay to the end of the show to see the Franken chopper go away. So
This is great. I just saw a new subscriber called Inappropriate Tilty Crush. I approve.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's begun.
Yeah.
Someone is building a shrine to you right now.
Oh my god, it's been a long day.
Actually, that's my Twitter account.
I'm not surprised.
Well,
I should have
Twitter account.
recognized
Yeah.
the inappropriateness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, cool prizes and a bike. So cool. And as you guys may know or may not know, like we introduced custom sprints last week now, and feels like forever. In TSW, and it's awesome to see people going around with their cool bikes, but also having their legs on fire or cool new animations. And we've got like plenty planned in the future, like new vehicles, new animations, and very, very cool stuff. So it's cool to see it's going well, and I'm excited that we'll be giving out one of these super cool bike by the end of the stream.
I'm excited.
All right, and I'm just trying to, by speaking out as much as I usually do, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to talk about today, because my brain it really is
Well,
blank.
Well,
His
last,
mouth
Doing it terrible.
actually operates completely independent of his brain. It's
Fact.
There's some medical journals on that, on Ramon and his independent mouthpiece.
I can still talk while sleeping. It's amazing.
that's weird. You know, issue 6 last week, and now we're moving into issue 7.
That's
Yeah.
right. We're going from
So-
Indiana Jones to
to James Bond.
James Bond and cosmic horror. A weird mashup of Bond and horror.
This is great. This is how good the transition will get. So
I called it bondage horror,
Do
but
it.
that didn't give the right idea.
So I think your best bet really is you can get into anything if you enter a door.
okay, I
Yeah.
think she's telling me click
No, I mean,
click the damn
that's-
thing.
The nursery.
What's
So the
behind
nursery.
it?
So I mean,
I love the
so for
nursery.
if anybody's out there and hasn't abandoned that stream already by saying what is kind of this madness going on in the Funcom studios right now. So issue 7 was our James Bond themed issue, like a lot of a secret agent feeling, like a very cool chase on a what do you call that?
The snowmobile?
The snowmobile. That's it. Thank you.
Is that the French hand signal for snowmobile?
I'm sorry, this is
You're-
not going to get any better.
You're
It's,
horrible. You don't actually steer that
This is
way.
proof that we are not PR bots in any way. Just watch this man stumble from sentence to sentence, completely unpolished,
oh my god.
real and
That's-
organic to you.
Go through the door.
So, snowmobile. Good tip. Hold it this way if you wanna
It's
go
an
across.
honorable attempt.
I thought you were milking a cow or something.
Oh my god. We're gonna get nowhere. My goal is to click that door before
Yes,
the
click,
next 15
click,
minutes.
click the
But
effing door.
I want to give the introduction.
Oh, okay.
No?
It's a go.
Give the effing introduction.
Well, I don't know. It's so you get chased by people on a snowmobile across the snowy valleys of Carpet and Fangs, and you end up on a big bridge, and you start jumping off on a parachute and end up in front of his door, following the clues of missing children's throughout the entire of Transylvania. And you got a lead that they might be inside this nursery in this kind of a abandoned area underneath a dam. Little things about the snowmobile. The snowmobile was really the day that we started thinking about doing vehicles in the games. It was really like a test to see how it would work, how it would feel, what we could do with it. And then the first look at all the technical system behind it, how to make it work. Since then, we actually completely changed the way it actually works, like the bike and the snowmobile are really, really different for us behind the scenes. But it gave us like all this kind of push to actually see, like to try and actually test it out without having the whole complete implementation. And it was very, very useful data. And then a year later, we got the maybe more. When did we release? No, that was almost when we moved to Durham, right? So yeah, 2 years later.
Yeah.
Well, after we moved to Durham, man.
Times flies. All right, clicking the door for real.
Here we go into the nursery.
We're going in.
So
and this is one of the.
we say James Bond, which kind of conjures up a more lighter-hearted kind of adventure, spy, espionage and stuff. But it's mixed in with some of the more kind of horrific aspects of the secret world, as this loading screen shows. Because stuff with children is just infinitely creepy.
And it's difficult. I mean, even like writing and working on things is like. Even like the very first mission start, following children and following blood that kids who escaped. So it's kind of it has like right from the start that very TSW-esque, even children's unsafe from our crazy mind. All right. Well, let's move in. So we're in the nursery. It's very red in there, and we meet a character we met in an early mission earlier, cleverly called Council Agent. Who could it be? Who
She
could
will
it be?
absolutely never betray you.
Nah, she's not the type. She's a council agent.
Mm-hmm.
We trust the council.
Mm-hmm.
Small cuts in there just to set up the mood, giving an impression of what the nursery is like. So you go from this little area underneath a dam, looks like a door, looks like kind of you enter this small kind of hallway, tons of pipes and everything. It doesn't look anything cool, and then you open that door and you have a reveal of having a very cool Orochi-esque area. It's that Orochi-esque, there's a whole Orochi logo right in the middle in front of your face.
So we see Orochi's influence.
So you might have those guys may be involved.
They may.
And then we have a little council agent who's following us around.
With the two of you standing near each other, you look like a strange alternative version of Cyclops and Jean Grey.
Yeah. If Cyclops wore fedoras instead of spandex. Why not?
You could do both.
It's his Sunday outfit. It's a Cyclops on a Sunday. You've seen it first. Okay, so explore the nursery. This is one of the missions where we wanted to really people to explore as much as possible. So there's actually the mission is going to guide you really barely. The path itself it's so linear that we didn't want to have the mission started spoiling it. So we decided to leave it kind of this way, and then let the player enter an area which is very, very dark and sort of had them feel into I wish we could have more lights. So it's kind of the first thing players will want to do. So we'll go around, and as most games, when the lights are off, you just find the nearest fuse box, and it all works. All right, I'll just talk a little bit of the behavior of a companion there that we wanted to have. The whole mission was designed from the start to be a bit more of an escort mission, where you have a character as escort quest goes in a lot of MMOs, which is either a character who's going to follow you exactly, and then you have a mission that guides you to where you're supposed to go, or a character who moves in front of you, and then you have to follow, leading to all the annoyance in gameplay that character might be moving extremely slow. So you're getting very annoyed by not understanding why they're not going to run like you would do as a player, or too fast for you to follow them, which doesn't allow you to actually enjoy anything which is going on around the area. So we decided to actually design that character and do one of the most complex kind of escort AI we've done in the game at this stage, where she's going to behave based on what's going on. So the player starting up those lights, we used that council agent as the mean to tell the player what do I do next, and of course there's a closed door in front of you, and she's going to run to the door, give you a little sentence saying okay, we need to go this way, and let the players and figure out the rest, and opening up that door. So it worked out pretty well. I was fairly happy with how it worked. We did a lot of little Easter eggs. Let me see, authorize surveillance access, gate open, and then little thing like this where she's gonna come and wave at you, being all friendly so far, and then run away. Kind of little fun facts. We actually have different behaviors scripted in there. So if actually we're trying to click the computer and then run as fast as you can to try and catch her before she runs up, she will actually not wave at you because you're no longer in the booth. And then run away. So we have we try to have her behaving as humanly as possible. And while I try to remember what I'm going to say next, I'm going to let you talk about that amazing ghost interface in there, because you had some really cool stuff that you wrote. Right.
This is where I got to cut my teeth on some of the ghost interface in game, which we'll see much more extensively, in issue 11 had a lot of it, but that's kind of the stippled storytelling. That's the storytelling. It isn't so much the cinematics. It's going in a straight line and giving you a narrative. It's the little pieces that you pick up and put together slowly. And this is full of the little horror nuggets from the various people that worked on these projects. The doctor who was experimenting on these children, and just the horror of people that thought they were doing important scientific work at the expense of these children. And it's a form of storytelling I like to do. I like artifacts, people's diary entries, emails, things like that. I think going all the way back even when I was a kid reading Dracula, because the novel Dracula is entirely these little documents that are put together.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to get horror across, particularly because it forces you to fill in kind of the lines in between things. It's not an omniscient narrator telling you stuff. So you read an email and then you put it together and oh my God, they did that.
No, it's important, yeah, exactly. Everybody can put their twisted on and exactly what it meant, and then you just get like a segment of information, but it's really cool.
I think also it helps, it makes the audience slightly more active in that you're kind of the investigator putting together these things as opposed to it being told to you.
It's cool, yeah. And we started, I mean, we also, this text is definitely for, in case anybody skips it, I mean, I completely unbiased in there, but I really want to recommend to everyone to go back and read like all of these kind of really cool interface that we put in there, because they really add so much more to the story. It gives out a lot of answers of overall what is going on in the secret world. And then, I mean, there's also like ways to get lore, via it and etc. So if you're more of a completionist, then it's definitely worth going and digging in the world, because we do hide things in
read all
in
of
many
my
different
words,
ways.
please.
And he makes him so happy, like he gets happy. Oh my God,
But it's frightening when you're happy.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to mention a little thing, because I've received questions before of why the what we call the ghost interface looked this way, and it's something which might not be like really clear on actually what it is in the game, but as an agent from your faction, you actually have a small hacking device. Which is using this kind of a DOS-based kind of a interface that you go and you use as a hacking machine. So you will go and whenever you find a computer, you're actually not using the computer directly. You're plugging in your machine into it and trying to find and access like people's emails and trying to hack their passwords, etc. So you can get all this kind of information. So it's a reason why it looks this way, and it's a very cool device, and it can be adapted to many things. All right, let's move on, because I think we have our little council agent who must be... We should have put a behavior over there where she comes back and say, hey, guys, the hell are you doing?
Like a lot of Orochi environments, we have that very normal, bright-looking office space
What
that
is
kind
this?
of... It's incongruous to some of the things we'll see later on.
Not so bad about blowing up those Orochi.
It sets up something that seems mundane and pleasant, but isn't.
It's very clean. That's what they do.
Here we have first nursery room. I love these
So
rooms.
clean.
And I love the nanny bots. Nanny bots are some of my favorite things.
Yeah, the nanobot is great. Actually, we're going to get soon to speak about the song. I know Josh has been bursting. He's like, let's talk about the song. I feel like it's now we've talked about this, like
We have talked about
to
it.
the people who know us. Like we did mention the backstory behind it, because it's one of our proudest moments as developers. But if you haven't heard it yet, and if we haven't destroyed your ears with this story already, you'll get to hear it again. And
That's fine though.
Hear it
'cause it's such a
again for
great
the
song,
first
right?
time.
It is. It's amazing.
Got some
So happy.
more other nanny bots. Got fun stuff written on the walls.
Yeah. But let's talk about the song now. It's actually playing in the background.
Is that playing now? Excellent.
Yeah. We can't actually hear it. We're playing deaf in there, but you
I've
see
got
those
it
little
here.
notes in there. I mean,
Oh,
it's,
okay. Yeah.
they do this in a lot of
Notes.
yeah. things.
It's a trope I recognize.
So, well, let's talk about the song.
All right. Well, in Montreal, early, I think maybe when I first got switched over to the team, or even maybe just right before, I don't even remember the exact timeline.
Yeah, I think it was just before we were.
Like, I don't think I was fully on it.
Yeah.
I was probably still on Conan, but we were out at a club in Montreal to hear a friend's girlfriend's band play. And everyone's done this, and you go, and it's often fun to hear music from people you know, but oftentimes you'll hear the music and maybe it's okay, maybe it's not, but you're going more to support. But we went there and we actually liked the music, and there was one song in particular that was this Sleepless Lullaby that she was playing, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're both like, this needs to go in somewhere. And she didn't write this song for TSW or anything. It was just, the lyrics just fit really well, and The performance is really cool because she was playing through part of it. She was playing just this little toy xylophone,
Yeah.
and it just added to the kind of the creepy factor. Maybe just added to the whole kind of nursery factor.
I think that was the main thing. Is like it was kind of a full set with very different sounding sounds, and then when she started this one, it was just her, I think, and and the xylophone. She did like a very
It was very
stripped
intimate.
version,
Yeah.
and it was so dark while being so sweet, being a lullaby at the same time, that it was literally. I mean, it was instinct. Like it just screamed TSW. Like Josh and I just looked at each other and was like, wow, this would be perfect in the game.
Like, man, that song should be in a video game. Only devs can put it in a video.
I know.
Wait
like,
a second.
Who could do this if we knew someone?
Suddenly we realized the extent of our power.
And it was, I think, I mean, we got lucky because we were actually, it was just before we started working on issue 7, and we knew we had something related to children back then. But the ending of the mission, like the ending of the issue, wasn't actually designed. We had, you're going to find them, you're going to find a nursery, and we're like, this, it's fate. It's like, it's perfect. We have children, we have a nursery, and we have a lullaby. This is all falling into place, and we need to find this and try and making it the leitmotif of this issue, and going back into what we had previously designed to try and start putting clues about this. And it's for those of you who are playing the game, it's a very big part as well of the game. It became something a lot more than just part of this issue. It's Emma's theme, I guess, to a certain extent. And as you can see, like, the children, so the ideas, like what we made with the story is like, wouldn't it be cool if those cyborgs, those nanny bots who are in there like taking care of the children, wouldn't it be cool if all they had this one song trying to keep the children to sleep, trying to keep them like docile.
Yeah, I think in one of the Ghost interfaces, the Doctor talks about it. It's the song that they use as kind of like they don't say exactly whether it's programmed or even hypnotized or some kind of response where it's an automatic thing that song calms down these horrific, monstrous mutant creatures that were once children. And so we took it as something that was just going to be in the game, and then it just got even more and more within the game itself.
Yeah. And it's cool to see, and we had this kind of everything. It was great. Like we were so inspired back then. We still are.
We were so innocent and young and full of energy.
But it was great the way it fell into adding those kind of decals, and just the lyrics just lend themselves so well to everything we needed that it was like, let's have the children being completely brainwashed by this and like putting them next to the walls where they start sleeping, and then it was really, really cool. Let me just open that door and see what's behind.
That owl is creeping me out for some reason.
It's because it's an owl.
That's
what they do. Oh no!
Yeah, this is... So, there's a lot of cool examples in this issue of, I'm not the only one doing storytelling within these issues. It's a group effort of various devs, whether it's the sound effects, whether it's just even placing items like this.
World design.
Yeah, world design, which tells a story. It's not just stuff that's there. We see like the words on the wall, and that tells a story. Someone wrote that, so we imagine the situation where that happened. Someone set up these dolls very specifically, watching this dead person. That tells a vague but also specific story.
Very specific. It's,
well, but we don't know all the particulars. We know what happened, but what led to it, and yeah.
I mean, just in the theme, like this is maybe for you, but it's fairly horrific. I'm sure for you, it's just normal.
But
this is happy for Johnny.
Speaking of like horrific stories, we had a really interesting question about.
Questions.
Yeah, it's just an interesting question. Like, so have we considered having modern day guest writers of horror do?
That's the kind of stuff I would always dream of. I don't know if it's within the scope of what we can do, because I've seen that on the forums pop up like, this writer or this writer, and it'd be like, yeah, I'd love, if we could be like, Neil Gaiman's guest writing, or Patrick Rothfuss is guest writing, or who, any number of other people, Joe Hill's guest writing.
It's definitely something, and we talked about it. We talked about having involvement. I mean, it would be great to get women for very big names out there, of course, to bring attention to our game, and just for us to have fun, having to do things with these people, and also to try and get a lot of people in our communities as well are fairly like talented writers. We've read their stuff that they put on the forums and everything, and it's great to see all this fan art. But one of the things which is important not to forget is the amount of work that goes behind. You know, when you have a story like is linking it to a world, it's still. It might be weird just to find a manuscript or someone's mini story or has nothing to do with the rest. Like imagine a new player coming in and just finding a manuscript. Like people are used to having games where everything is somewhat interconnected, and so we always need to have this kind of a how do we bring it into the game? How do we make it work? What's its origin like within the game, etc. So that we don't break that fourth wall, which I'm about to later too much. But it's important to think of it this way, you know, like what's important, like for my job in particular, is to try and keep this cohesion, like within the universe, and you know, it's the kind of thing I want to do. Everybody in the team wants to do, and we might do some point in the future. It's always going to be, you know, when we're going to find the time to actually do it, because you know, like right now we have Josh like full-time writing all the time. It's with everything that we're getting, it's already difficult to try and put everything together, like making it work with, you know, just setting up whether you're going to read them from a computer or it's going to be an NPC talking to you. It's simply going to be a page that you find written. All this kind of thing requires set up in the background. That it's, you know, this is the part which is time consuming. But it's a great question. I mean, it's definitely
cool.
It would no. I like the concept.
Yeah.
I like the concept that
Maybe
you tune
one day.
into. I love the concept that you tune into a game that's an ongoing game, and then you know you have guest writer working
Yeah.
on this issue, kind of like guest writer of a show. There's logistics potential problems in there, but yeah, I guess maybe especially if it was a particular compartmentalized piece of an issue or something. Or
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Actually, I'm thinking also for
like even if it was a series of like ghost interface stuff, guest written by.
yeah. But there's actually already a system in place in the game. Like if you know the issue that we did with the computer interface, which allows you to tell your own stories. Oh my god, I forgot the name of the side stories where we had it with.
Was it in the investigation side story?
It's not like I'm cheating right now.
That's okay, you can do that. But hey, while you're doing that, I can
Mhm.
start a raffle.
You should start a raffle.
You can
Start a raffle.
for
Yeah,
600
yeah.
points. Why not?
For
Sounds good.
yeah.
I like that idea.
All right, so
Join the raffle.
let's start the raffle. Yeah, no, we did. I think it was in one of those 3 side stories I have on screen right now. It might be
Which one
further
were they?
analysis where we implemented a system that you can. It's one of those adventure. I have French coming in my head right now. The what do you call it? Choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventures.
yeah.
Yes.
In French called an adventure of no, it's a book of which you are the hero, so it doesn't flow as well as it does in English. That was a completely useless fact, I'm sorry. But in any case, this system actually allows you to plug in kind of any kind of other stories that you guys may want to do. So it's as simple as just putting it under like the correct folder. I think the explanation on how to do it is on the forum. But if you guys want to do this kind of thing, like I would definitely encourage people like to start writing those cool little stories and then sharing them with other people, so you can start playing and telling each other how it works. And I'll be more than happy to play through them as well, because they're really fun. All right, well, let's start annoying that robot now. Has been very kind to us.
It's got a smiley face right now.
When do you want to do the result of the waffle?
Oh,
The waffle.
The
oh
waffle?
my god.
The waffle.
We're not giving any waffles away yet, but I got you. You do this.
I think we should
you do
give
this
waffles
thing,
away.
and then I'll do that thing.
I'm doing these things, but not very well.
Oh,
And
oh,
so-
the blue smiley face turned into a red side.
Yeah, he's very angry now, just because I turned off the music. See, the music is so good that even robots are angry if you turn it
I
off.
love the robot emotes.
It's really cool. No, those robots were fun. Like it was really.
I love their phrases and the voice actress and how robotic she got when she did them.
The
It's pretty damn cool.
the song itself really just led itself to giving us so much inspiration in doing all these kind of all those little things. Obviously, like having those robots, and it was really like I think the missing thing from the original design. he gave us so many answers. It was really
With a thematic through line that kind of connected everything. Just something you
Yep.
can always go back to as a central theme or motif.
So as you can see, all this is still like we're still fairly led still by the mission. You go and you don't really have any way that you can escape, and then whatever you do, it's always like this wall coming up. You don't have any other way to get out of this room. You get out, the first thing you see is the wall opening up. So this is why we could do a mission which just says explore the nursery, because everything in the design led itself to being very linear in this kind of a case. And people tend to associate being like having linear games as being a bad things, and this is when I want to challenge them. Like it goes both ways, and I think it's important to have like more kind of sandboxy areas, but also having linearity in something when we're talking about storytelling is very, very important, because it allows the designers to be in control and to have like a much more intense kind of a experience of the designs.
So we've got the notes of Dr. Schraber here. Dr. Schraber being a reference to one of my favorite movies, Dark City.
Very cool.
Yeah. Easter egg.
All right, you choose. Which one should we look at? Because we're not going to go through all of them because we only have.
Jeez, I'm trying to remember. Let's go to number 5, just because it's got a long, ridiculous title. Methodologies for employing the complementary natures of lycanthropic and child cells.
Who wrote this?
What?
The affliction of lycanthropy brings with it cells of a mercurial nature. A child's cells are also fluid, though this becomes more rigid with age. I would like personnel to jot down at least 2 theoretical applications for joining these 2 complementary natures. We will have a brainstorming session on Monday. Dr. Schraber.
He's a cool guy. All right.
And as we go through as you go through his notes and personal diaries and stuff, he kind of gets crazier and crazier. But he really believes he's making some important advancements. Thanks for all the help, Council.
Yeah, no, she's like so lazy. And then, bam.
Oh, I love that little bit.
Uh-oh.
That actually gave me a little jump then.
I know.
Not this time.
Are those
I didn't
goosebumps?
jump, but when I first saw that part,
It
made me make a sound like this.
Oh.
Thank you, Internet. Some episodes ago, this one made a scared noise, and I asked the Internet to bestow it upon me so I could put it in my phone, and it came true.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be my text message.
And this is why I did not want to do the streams.
Oh.
I was happy with
Embrace the comedy.
Can you send that to me?
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. Because his phone just crashed. Fell in his coffee.
Oh no, your phone.
You should be proud of that sound. I would have made a sound just with some kind of grunt or
Oh,
whatever.
I'll-
You made a musical. It's complex. It's a.
This is great. I'm very proud of it. It's. I'll get you back.
Dun dun dun.
There will be repercussions. But in any case, going back into the horrific atmosphere
Yes.
of
That would cause one to go, "What?"
you're breaking everything, like my immersion.
Breaking your immersion. Just located like in an art poster or whatever. Turns out.
So in any case, we finally get this locked part of the nursery, and we're trying to reach it, and then you go into realizing that something went really, really wrong.
Something Orochi did went horribly awry.
It's who would have guessed? For the first time ever, some Orochis got killed in the crossfire.
Breaking their perfect streak of success.
So here was actually something I really want to give like props to the world designer who worked on this, because
This is good, good light placement.
we had like very little time to do all this, and it was everything it did was so efficient, like fantastic use of lighting, and really showing, talking about storytelling earlier, this is like all of these side rooms are really a perfect example of the little thing we can do with like simply environments and art. So it's this looks like, as you go in there, you will ask yourself, what happened. As you notice over there, like a little girl just runs away. So we have a lot of little thing this way, it's worth going around and having a look and seeing, what's going on, little events that happen. And our friendly council agent. So here we had like a section we wanted to have a corridor was fairly light as far as gameplay, and then a lot of different things that will happen in those side rooms. And of course, we know as players start playing things is what happens if people try to use like what I call the path of least resistance is they'll avoid all this kind of optional gameplay we have in there. So this is when we decided to have the Council of Agents, giving her this kind of more inquisitive personality where she's going to go around behind your back and say, oh, I wonder what's, behind door number 3, and then opens it up and unleash whatever was triggered.
Her doll sitting on all the bodies.
And it's she's being very kind today. She's actually not releasing anything, so it's good. She learned a lesson from last time.
I guess.
But there you go. So another one of these little scripted event where we didn't want to have like the traditional escorts, and by going through this door, she'll be inquisitive, look at those papers, press the button which is right there, and then create something bad. So what were they doing in this one, Josh?
All the things?
My memory's foggy, but looks like they were trying to do something in that little containment
Do you think it involved
cage
filth
there,
in any way?
and it involved filth, and it didn't
Probably.
stay contained in the way that they thought it would stay contained, because filth flows on dimensions that we
They'll never learn. I guess they probably never learn, because the fact that every time we do it is like we lose contact with the little studios where they did those things. And they're like, they're not responding. They must be having too much fun playing with the filth. So let's try it on our.
Let's try it again.
Let's try it again. We want to have fun too.
Try.
Silly orgies. So our little council agent has decided to be very lazy. Of course, it's easy for us to have her participate in the event.
There's Dr. Schrader.
Yeah, we just wanted to be part of the personality that she was really into. I don't deal with those things. She's more of as far as the council is concerned, a backstory is she's more of a researcher. So it's she doesn't deal with those things, and she's quite glad when you find out at the beginning that she can suddenly find a bodyguard, and it makes balancing in the game easier. Alright, so the doctor just opened up the door for us.
Got a really bloody doll on the body. On another doll.
And another doll.
Got lots of dolls. They're all looking at the computer.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a dead guy.
And then also the music. You can start hearing in this room. So again, let's talk to the leitmotif of the entire things. And new behavior from our little agents of going around. You can tell the music is coming out of somewhere, so she goes around and try to actually figure out where this is coming from. A few things the player can interact with. Nope, nothing. Nothing again, supposedly. Eventually
Here's some more visual storytelling. We have a dead guy with dolls around him. He was at the computer doing something, and we saw Dr. Schraber run out there, and that ties into the text that is on the computer, I believe.
Well, this one was easy.
Okay.
Delete it.
Welcome to the nursery. Personal computer of Dr. Schraber. Access granted.
We're actually looking for Emma in there. This is the name that our
his
agent
name
was talking
pops
about.
up in, yeah. Emma Smith.
Access the private lab. Let's do it. Oh my. Oh my. I did not see this coming.
There was a last letter in there from a J. Murdoch, another reference to Dark City.
Let's have a look at the reference.
He's slamming against the door. There's no time. Okay, I just want to say I'm sorry to the children. It'll never be enough. Also, I'm not doing this to escape any kind of justice. I'm just not going to let him put the 0-point pathogen in me. The doctor let it in. He's pounding on the door now. I can still hear the singing like it's coming through the floor. So a little clue there. Goodbye, J. Murdoch, assistant to Dr. Schraber. Dr. Schraber more directly did something that involved the filth getting into him, which turned him into a more beastly creature than the other filth infected.
All right.
And I think he had some theories on that in his past notes, if I remember correctly.
So, a little cutscene.
Cutscene. Is this the cutscene I'm thinking?
Hopefully, unless you're thinking about another cutscene.
That's
Emma!
true.
Yeah.
We found you! Emma?
All right.
We found Emma.
Finally, we
They
found
must
Emma.
have drugged her. Wake her, quickly!
So actually, something about
Wait, her accent was so fake. Oh, I should have.
Curtain on that fast now, can't we? Oh!
I did not see this
No.
coming. No.
Hush. There,
It was
now.
actually something interesting that we had, on the feedback on this issue. A lot of we had quite a few players who did not like the voice, particularly. I mean, I think a lot of people before they saw the reveal, and I think it's actually the voice actress we had, like who's playing Lilith is excellent and has done quite a few other characters, and it was really important for us to, like, we asked us deliberately to put on an accent which sounds obviously fake, which is yeah.
Yes, she was. Yeah, she was going for a cliched Bond character accent, which isn't Lilith's actual voice,
Yeah, and
or
Lilith
whoever
is-
this person is.
It's like Lilith is smarter than this, but it's also a part, I think, of her personality, where she, the fact that she's been alive for thousands of years, and the fact that she really despises humanity is, she would think them a lot more gullible, I think, than people are. So she wouldn't really try really hard of saying, I'm just gonna, disguise my voice a little bit, and everybody's gonna fall for it.
I think it's also part of her humiliating the player characters that she put on this accent.
Yeah.
Tell you lies.
It's
Well,
just
that
kind of
maybe,
her
yeah.
way of almost adding complacency to
You face the descendants.
to the whole thing. Like, I beat you and I shouldn't have,
Every
I know.
legend, every myth, every night terror.
or at least she
They
thinks she has.
all
So far.
trail umbilically back to between
Here she's giving
these
her,
legs. And I dissolved entire
her
civilizations in
her
the
highly
sizzling
villainous
aftermath.
spiel.
My body is a
A
temple
little bit
that outlasts all
provocative with all
temples.
these.
Gods have
Yeah, she
worshipped
invokes a
me
lot of
Get a room.
names. There were some names I got out of
Through me,
book of
you
mine
enter the population
that I
of
think was
lost
actually an angelic dictionary, but in the back it has various old writings and incantations and things. And there's a story of, and I'm forgetting which biblical or semi-biblical character that bound her, did something that by invoking her various names. So I used the names that were listed
my
there.
name because it is etched in your communal memory. In the
I just realized I
reptilian
didn't put the
complex beneath your
subtitles. I should
forebrain,
have.
because I encoded it there.
That
before
means
the
you can make up
histories
your own
forgotten by
dialogue.
the
That's
histories
true.
that your histories forgot.
We'll make that a new feature
Alright, do it.
of the
There
stream.
you go.
On the fly.
Oh, here we have the.
Hello, mommy.
Hello, Mama.
Sorry, I was.
And I tried, and
the
I will
monster
never do it
comes
again.
out, and Lilith's humming the song to her, soothing her, and kills her.
So one of the
But we're showing her, like, motherhood is an aspect of Lilith in this, and but it's a twisted aspect, and like, it's genuinely there. It's not just an act she's putting on, but it's
No,
kind
my
of
dear.
twisted and frightening.
I do not expect you to die.
And so here we're going into the
Very James Bond part after the very horrific part.
may have been done
Mm-hmm.
in some James Bond movies.
The
And
elaborate,
there was a reference that we obviously could not avoid, so it's
the elaborate trap.
Stop.
This is like this was a very difficult cutscene actually to do. Like there's a lot going on, and yeah, I mean there was some difficulties in there. Like characters moving, holding each other, like stuff like this is actually extremely difficult to do on the animation side.
Yeah, this is stuff I discovered kind of on the fly writing some of these scenes. Game writing, you have to be able to adapt really quickly because there's lots of seemingly arbitrary restrictions and things, and to just be like, oh no, they can't hold that knife and do that. That would, and be like, oh man, okay. So you have to write around a lot of things. But so a lot of my scenes, the cinematic team really had to buckle down and be like, okay, we'll do this and deliver it for you. And I'm grateful to them for doing that. I'm wiser now in a little bit in how I write my cinematic scenes.
So I know that we can't narrate the dialogue or anything, but we've actually had a couple of requests, and don't hurt me, of if we could replace any Wilhelm screams that we have in the game.
No.
With Tilty screaming. That would. No, don't do it. No. I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
All right.
It's like actually I have this say in those things, so
That's right. You have
I'm
the
saved.
power.
It's true.
But once
It's
I
true.
got Josh and once I got him back, we'll use whatever he does as
Alright,
the new Wilhelm screen.
alright.
How's that? Much better. I prefer it.
Take your revenge. I can
This
take it.
was.
Ah.
There you go. It would just be like this really nonchalant. Moving on.
Moving on. All right, so we wake up again in the room where we just got tortured.
Right.
The door
She
is
cut
gone.
off your legs because she knows that you'll be put back together by the bees or Gaia or the forces that empower you. So killing you would slow you down less than just chopping off your legs and letting you have to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
But Emma did a little something.
Exactly.
That forced a.
You
forced
see in the
to
last scene that
revive.
bee going, so a little bit of a hint from Emma already that she might be a little bit more than you might think, and actually fixing you a lot faster than Edith had anticipated. At this stage, the player thinks, so he's back in the room, the only thing is like the door has disappeared. And this is when we had a lot of fun on this level, really showing some of the power of our engine and some of the things as designers we could do by really trying to do as much as possible. My main goal with this one was to mess up with people's perception and doing something which are usually not done in MMOs. This wasn't as smooth as it should have been, but a thing like this, going from being in a room to coming out in the middle of the Carpets and Fangs and wondering what just happened
Hello.
with Emma right over there. So this is one of some of the areas where I'm going to show you some of the tricks. One in particular on how we did it when we get to it. But I wanted to actually talk about something in general, which is important, like in the game, which is the use of single player instances versus group instances. As we know in an MMO, it's very important for people to be able to play together. We have a lot of players who play as couples, so we want to do things in pairs, be able to do anything, and it's great. It's limiting in terms of designs, and I wanted to have a way to try and really show off and do some of the best storytelling that we have in the game, but this really required to have single player instances. So kind of the rule and the law that sort of makes sense is any kind of instances now that we have in the game where the player is going to be somewhere in conscience rather than being there physically. So in this case where you are in someone's brain, or when you are dealing with the dreaming ones, etc. So any kind of a dream sequences makes a lot more sense that you're going to be on your own. You never have someone else being able, that in a dream you would have to be able to control everything, so it doesn't make sense to have another character who has his own behavior with you in that dream. And by just having this simple little rule, it really allows us to have, first of all, full control of where the player actually is, because the most difficult part of an MMO is what happens if player 1 is triggering something that everybody has to see, but player 2 is facing something that's going to prevent him to see that clue, or is gone in a completely different tangent. Everybody plays with that player that you say, okay, let's move forward, and you have the one guy who keeps running the other way. So it's kind of we always have to take into account this one guy, and it limits some of the I want to say give me a good word for this. No, this is not. This is something. This is another one. The size of the design. I want to say like the ambition, the scope. Thank you.
Yes.
You're gonna be sitting here next time. You're so much more useful than that guy. It's,
No, he had it too.
I got a
He's got the
hat.
hat.
second too late.
I've got like personality
That's
attached
our
on
one.
my head.
It's, all right. Well, let's follow Emma. It's been waiting for a while. So here, this is like very early on in the game. We really want to try and indicate to the player like there's something really unusual which is going on. Like you might not really be in the Carpet and Fangs. And then she's leading us into this room. Oh, hello.
Should we get some Emma memories?
First Emma memory. So something I'm going to have to speak fast on this one. This is actually directly taken from one of the missions you will actually take into this cabin from this couple. If you see like the camera setup and everything, this is where they film themselves, like, and you actually do find those videos. So it was really important for us to have this whole connection and memories, and it was very interesting for us that we had a mission which was already made, a cutscene which was already made and fairly old because it was like from before the game, and deciding to suddenly give the players, what if the player could see what happened around it, seeing from a different angle. So it was a good challenge and pretty well. And then it was time. Sorry, I spoke again fast. It's all of this is leading to a very timed event which allows us to seamlessly teleport the player, like having this big explosion from Emma, and then now you're in a different place in Carpet and Fangs. Do you have anything more you want to know about the Smith? Or?
Well, it's a good way to retouch on the backstory, which I think is important because the MMO storyline is kind of paced over a long period of time, so it's good to retouch on those things, and it gives us some background as to why Emma is important. The comic book we did for this issue touched on that too. It showed a bit from her past that we kind of go to in the dreamscape, which is my favorite of the comics we've done.
I can actually go.
Yeah. I like all the comics, and what I like about them is how ridiculously different the styles are.
Yeah.
This is the style I like the best, and I love particularly that shot with the tentacles coming down. It's such a cool vantage point.
This was great. We were really, really inspired by this. This is also like this eye which you might recognize from the Tyler Freeborn mission. So a direct link, to one of the issues that came out of a couple of issues before this one. I would have offered to do the voices for this, but since you laughed at my
What?
hello,
Oh
mommy.
no, come on.
No, that's it.
Duh.
You had one chance.
I do love the motion comic that was made of this.
Oh,
It's amazing,
those are
yeah.
Amazing.
I absolutely love them. I was actually still in contact with BioDio who did this, and I know he did the latest couple, but he wanted to do like a bigger version that has all of the Tokyo ones, and then so hopefully he'll send it to me at some point. I'll be able to share it with you guys because he's really, really good. And look, someone's coming out. This was actually this shot that Jean-Baptiste did when he created that that comic book. It was very important, like, to try and tell it and having, so we had this sort of idea of having talking about the fire in Emma's room and what may have caused it, and the fact she was the sole survivor, because the fact that players knew was like she's an orphan. And this last shot that we had, we really wanted to go into something which was very movie-like, of having this shape going against the fire, was so inspiring that we actually decided to do the entire a loading screen, to do like a HD version of this with one of our concept artists who actually, did a new take of this, and it's probably still my favorite loading screen we have in the game.
I like that one.
It's really, really cool.
Do you remember the Twitterverse associated with it? The adventure? It was Twitterverse adventure.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
So this was, as far as the Twitterverse, like we, this one actually thought of it in advance enough that when we did the comic book, we actually hid certain numbers and actually words in each of the pages. And what you have to do is if you take those pages
Right.
and
I
then
forgot about that.
yeah, and then change the hue, you will be able to actually see some words. You can actually see it there. I see on the screen. You can see it just in the frame up there, like in dark blue. I think it says beware. And then the other pages have.
It says drink your Ovaltine.
Product placement anywhere.
You know what that's a reference to.
Well,
No,
well, yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
knew
you
it.
know, you know.
then I don't know. Isn't Ovaltine some kind of?
Ovaltine's a drink, but
Yeah.
It's a horrible chocolaties.
yeah,
goop.
there were radio shows that would like promote it.
They would promote it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, back in the
Little
day.
No, I did not know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get
Particularly referencing A Christmas Story.
Yes.
He decodes. He gets the decoder ring. And he's listening to the radio show. He decodes the message. He knows it's going to be really
So
important,
excited.
and it just says "Drink your Ovaltine." It's just a fucking advertisement.
Oh no. This is good.
So that was. My
Yeah, I know there's another one hidden in that fire, right there. But it was cool. I mean, again, you know, we discussed it before. It's like I would love to be able to go back and do more of these things. We always have, you know, we have more ideas than times on how to do those kind of. You know, I love teasing in particular. Josh loves it too.
But yeah.
And then, you know, any kind of puzzles and stuff like this, we will have so many things we want to do. It's just now it's a matter of time. It's, you know, it's better for us to try and spend that time trying to work on issues and getting content that can actually be played rather than those little things, because, you know, they seem little, but they still require like a lot of times. And
But they're working on a cloning device in operations, and once that's done, there'll be more of
This
us.
would be the end of
and
the
we'll
world.
be
Oh
able
my
to.
God.
I need a clone.
Yes,
Just
I'm gonna
bake
make
me
I'm gonna make a
cookies.
full-time one of me for
Keep
each of
her
the Twitter
going.
characters.
There you go. All right.
24 hours a day they're gonna be tweeting.
I'm quitting.
Frightening. That's right.
This would be the end of the world. Oh my God. I already have trouble bearing myself sometimes. If it was more than one of me, it would be horrible. But this guy,
Hello, Scribnomancers.
Ooh.
oh my, the world is not ready.
Wow.
So yeah, this was like a new way as well. We always think of ways of telling stories, and this was something which was fairly effective. You know, when we started, I was telling earlier like what we did with the with doing this new shot of the story of the Smith. Originally, we were trying to reuse, you know, the animations that we had, and then just making it work with the different frames, and it felt kind of weird. We didn't have enough control to do like, you know, the explosion from Emma. You know, all you see in the original cutscene is the character being projected across, and so it felt. I wanted to try doing something like this where we just froze those images and doing those kind of stills, and it gave like such a cool feel to the whole thing. We decided to make it the way we're telling the story as part of this. So, you know, we had our animators like doing a lot of special poses that Josh mocapped this way.
I mocapped it.
And he
I-
kind of
yeah, I
he just had
mocap
to
all
hold the
stuff.
pose for 2 hours for each of them.
I mocapped all the
Don't tell
little
him that's not
stuff.
how you do things, but it was great. That was, for me, that was my day off. It's like we just get Josh in the booth and yeah, just hold the pose for 3 hours, and then we pretend if you paint it, you know. It's this is how it
It
works.
was a lie. They just glued ping pong balls to me, and I
Dude.
believed him.
I'll paint him like
Stand in the
this.
cupboard over there. Just don't move.
There's no ceiling. Or I
I don't
can't
think you're supposed
gauge
to be
it.
gluing these onto me.
Better than Staples.
It says do not apply to skin.
She's breaking.
So I don't know. I really love. Oh, I was looking the wrong way.
Boom.
Oh no! What's going
Nice.
on? So again, here, like, you know, a new. So I should have done this before if I'd remembered. Like, you know, we did a different version actually of that chasm that doesn't show the whole burning sun and everything that you have like in the back. That didn't have like the flow of I don't know what that is. This ethereal flow of magical things that look good. That's the official name for it. And so we hid everything, and then, you know, we
It's the color
wanted
from outer space.
this transition of Emma doing the big explosion, which allows us to, again, we're talking about having full control of where the player is. You know, I know exactly the player is here. I don't have to worry about someone going too far, someone being too far behind. And then I can actually do that kind of seamless modification of the screen that just unravels the chasm in the Carpet and Fangs. And yet again, we
We
follow
must go
Emma.
deeper.
Oh, Emma through her memories.
Seeing an engine up there,
Oh, one of the
and then she gets
elusive
taken
Gaia
down.
engines.
So again, one of the tricky parts in there is making the player understand that suddenly they have to jump. Like it's still like find Emma is still following. So he was trying to get with little animation. Nothing is there by chance. It's like this animation was very specifically in there to show she fell down. So follow her down there. And then we have a few fallbacks in case you really don't know. Saying I'm going to try to find the stairs down because I hate jumping. Any kind of any place you're going to go in there is sort of going to get you there. Trying to make things impossible to break, and then you guys always find things to break it anyway. I think I'm so smart, and then play things. I'm like, oh god, forgot about this and this and this. It's a very disappointing profession. Brings you back down to reality every time.
Ramon's just dancing around the office going, I am so smart.
Yeah.
And then looks at the screen and goes,
I know.
no!
We did it. We thought of everything. It's so great. And then I look at the forums and start crying. It's,
Aww. Don't do
this is
that.
what you guys do to me.
Tilty tears.
She excels
Oh,
all our
so he's
tastes.
just like
Even
follows.
beyond our
Could that be like
subject
a
in
potion?
mind.
And
Yeah.
She's ready for the
Tilty
carpet
tears. It's the new Mona.
Don't give them ideas. Someone is
We-
gonna
I mean,
is gonna
we
come
have-
and stab me just so we can get my
We
tears.
have the item of the month vote happening right now, so
It's
you never
true.
know.
It's true, Tilty tears. Or the Tilty sausage shack.
That's still
Sausage
happening.
shack.
That wasn't me. He's the one obsessed right now.
Clearly.
Alright, so we're still following him, and then I'm getting close to that fourth wall breaking. So if you guys don't want to know, this is gonna be a good time soon to go and take a drink, go
Close
for
your eyes. Plug
go
your
for a
ears.
run,
Go for a run.
start
okay.
a new character.
We're going this
It was
way.
a good time to go for a run.
Walk your dog.
Walk my dog, yeah.
Someone
So-
walk his dog.
Alright, so here it's
These rooms.
so I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory around this room, and it's something actually I forgot to do in the last stream, and I talked about it very briefly. So for those of you who've watched the last stream, this will make sense. If you haven't seen it, then you should have. So go back and watch it now. Pause and then get back to it. No, that makes no sense. But so I was talking like in the train that one of the challenges that we had was, have you seen the rolling pin that we had that had the world moving around? We had 3 different versions. We had a version was at dusk. We had a version that was inside a tunnel, and we had a version that was during the night. And then getting the transition, getting like a seamless transition from a player going from one of the train to the train entering the tunnel, and then going from exiting the tunnel to the version at night. It was a really big challenge on our end, and we tried. Excuse me, I'm getting the hiccups again. We tried to find a way to do this seamlessly, like see, can we actually be super smart and do it without requiring a cutscene? Can we find a way to actually teleport the player automatically based on where they are on this cart? Teleport them to a cart who look just like the same and give them like the same orientation, and realized very quickly that we could. We made a very simple script that based on where you currently are on the server, we teleport you with an offset to a new cart to look the same. And then despite doing this, realized like all the environment, all the transitions was very abrupt, so we needed to use a cutscene to make it very smooth. But one of the things that sort of tilted my brain back then, it was like, what about we make, if we made the environment completely exact from the moment before and after the teleport, there'll be no way for the player to actually tell he's been teleported. And like this went into my brain into what could we do, what kind of what would be the gameplay kind of equivalent of this, it's great to teleport players, but usually you want them to know when they get teleported. So what's the point of teleporting them seamlessly? And this sort of this entire dreamscape sort of is built around, this is what we can do. Actually, we can start teleporting and doing things. The player would be just a way of telling a story. And then the gameplay I sort of got reminded back then was the first Zelda game where you go into the Enchanted Forest, where you keep going through the same screen like over and over again until you find the path you actually have to take to get out of it. And I was like, oh man, we need to recreate it in a way that doesn't have the whole scrolling effect as you went from screen to screen, because now we can do it seamlessly. So this is sort of what we have in this section, which I realize I might be let's see. No, this is working. So this is what we have here as my player is walking through these rooms. I have an endless section where I keep walking all the time through the same room, and it's completely endless. And I'm going to show you the mechanic behind this. And every time what actually happens here is when I'm about to cross that threshold, I get teleported just back there, and then I never actually leave that room. Even though you can't tell, because I can be jumping, and we do everything so that when you go through, we keep teleporting you. And this was like, it's a very cool element, but of course, we we needed another way to try and tell the player, like, how are you going to get out of it? And we just wanted to have a kind of a simple Simon Says, and this is why I decided to use that screen, that when you go through, it gives you some kind of clue, and you have to understand how the clue work before you can continue, and before you can actually get the actual exit. So again, if you don't want to see this, now is the time to look away.
He's ripping back the skin of the world.
And now I'm about to break things. Alright, and you'll see, so as you walk, I'm actually gonna cheat a little bit more than this.
I can't handle it.
Well, look at that. So you can see now this this area where we are, and you can see where my player is targeted down there, and you can see that all the areas around it look exactly the same. And we've only done, in matter of optimization and everything, we've only done the rooms who are absolutely needed to make this work. And it's as simple that all you need is to have one extra room for anything which is directly in front of you. So 2 rooms, and then just one for anything which is in diagonal, so that if you look at anything from any kind of angle, you can actually see this other room which is right there. Because of course, if those rooms didn't look exactly the same, you would see that popping of that room getting further and further away from you every single time. So we have this simple system in there, it looks simple when you look at it, of just teleporting the player in the middle of this room at any single time. When the player starts, it starts by going, you actually have an upper level right there, but it starts by going through this particular room where you started, so you can recognize the section where you saw Emma earlier, go through this wall, and then as soon as you teleport through that particular door, you actually get teleported one step across to go into that fateful room where you're going to be locked until you actually do the correct pattern of going through those doors, and then as soon as you get out of the door again, it will teleport you straight to the final room, which is right there. And you recognize a big white box that you'll see through, which will teleport you to the next section. So there you go, and I'll show you really how far we kind of push this kind of idea. This is originally we had this, and we're like, okay, we have the screen in this room, which is the only thing which needs to be updated. But of course it's not, because you can see the equivalent of the screen into the other room, like right there. So we have to make it that whenever you update those kind of effects on the room, this actually is replicated everywhere around you, so that we can keep this illusion as good as possible. And this is just done by having those 4 rooms closer to you having this behavior, and then the 4th room, which I talked about over there, which is just there to be like the final area. And then we make sure we have a type of fog of war that prevents you from seeing too far ahead, so you don't see that popping that will happen past it. And the reason for the diagonal is because no matter where you put your angle over there, you can't really see the extra other room which is over there. So it's still fairly seamless. Well, there you go. And now I'm
They
gonna.
lost their minds. They were like, "Are you kidding me? That's
They're like, I know. You just broke their minds. They're all looking at the screen and screaming.
Let it go.
I can't stop.
I still haven't gotten it. Where you
Oh, well,
doing?
I'll send
You
it
got
there.
my number. Text me. Come on.
All right.
Those people. This is what I have to work with, people. It's
You love it. Okay, so
Actually, I'm
Well,
not sorry. I'm not
okay.
sorry at all.
no, you're not.
I mean we have maybe 20 minutes and we still have a chopper to give away. So we're
Yeah.
excited about
To the
that.
chopper.
in a bit.
Well, we're
But-
getting very close to the end. Like, there's one more things really I want to talk about. So I'm just going to get through this. And then there's one section I want to talk about the music, I think, because I think it's another part that you might not know. I think I'm going blue again. I failed! No! Okay, it was red. I'm trying to remember. Did you want to give like all the... Did you want to do the second waffle? Oh my god!
Oh no! I've already given the second waffle
We should be doing
away.
waffles.
Be very,
I'm that
very
efficient.
quiet.
Oh, you
We're
can-
holding a waffle.
You should give out the name of the winners.
So our first winner was Nananners,
Nananners, congratulations.
and then our second winner
Nananners.
was Bumoveris.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
So
Sure.
congrats to those
Wilma
guys.
Veras.
I would
Yeah.
congratulate you if I could repeat your names.
Oh,
But
no.
he can't even say raffle.
You're lucky there's not an H.
Jim and Bob, congrats.
Jim and Bob, that's your new names.
Aha.
So is there a reason why the color pattern is the way it is? We got a question about
Yeah, I mean it is following the Orochi logo
Okay, yeah, it's
to
what I
some
thought.
extent. So that was like we could have done something, but we wanted to actually go into we don't want it to be too mean, and we sort of actually let's just have people go when we're doing going through the Orochi logo. Once you know the solution, it makes it easy to remember. Like on my second attempt, I haven't done this in a couple of years, so I'm proud of myself. But it also is surprisingly difficult when you don't know when the next one is. Like every single time you go through a door, you still have 4 valid options. So it's easy to remember but difficult to figure out. So, all right,
Nope.
let's
There she is.
follow Emma. Oh no, why did I set myself up to doing a jumping puzzle?
Into the hexagons.
I
of
forgot
doom.
about this.
Whoops.
Oh man.
This
He
was
who lives
great.
by the
If
jumping
anyone's
puzzle
strange,
dies by the
it's
jumping
me.
puzzle.
This I think drove me insane, placing all those things to make those patterns. Originally, we had placed everything to be every single hexagon was. Oh no, I forgot about this. Every single hexagon was a.
What?
Was it? Oh my god! Just leave me alone.
You created it. I think
Was
you
its
deserve
own asset in the game, and it actually came MMOs, everything which is server based need to keep track of where items are, and it was just very very expensive on the server because it was like 500 of his hexagons. So after I placed everything and I had this entire puzzle actually working, in order to optimize it, we made different versions of them that actually included several hexagons as part of one items, and I had to re-implement the entire thing with suddenly having the restriction of having shapes. So it was like playing like advanced Tetris, and it was really fun. And I did it because I love you guys, but I'm not gonna do it again. I went spend many hours placing them all, and then realizing that would try and play through it, and then realizing that they were too high, so you had to jump to get from one to the other, etc. And you could not just simply place forward. Let's see. Haha.
Nope.
And yeah, so it looked cool and it was great in the end, but it went in there.
I like this bit.
So yeah, this is one of the place I'm the proudest of the way it looked, because it's so bare minimum. It links directly to the comic book that you saw earlier, and then this is again the reuse of the music. We had Emma earlier singing the song that we had, and this particular section for me was again a new challenge. It was working with the designers and the sound designers and scripters on this. It was a brand new challenge in the fact that we actually had never worked with a song as far as doing content for the game. We work with sound all the time. We work, with music, everything, but we never work with music as a leitmotif, as a way to tell the player a story, and particularly music that has lyrics, and it's very difficult to do kind of in a game. And so once we had this song, we looked at what it is that we can do with it. So it was like, one, we can use the song itself played on radio. We can have NPCs humming it, singing it, which is what we did with Emma singing it, with having the nanny bots humming it. We can use the lyrics by writing them on the walls, etc. And then the last thing that we have is the music. And then there's a section in the song that has this really amazing build-up, like where you have a bass sort of starting, and then it's sort of it's a really great like layered version of the song. Where when I heard it, I really wanted to do a version where I was like, okay, let's cut it down to the bass line, and just have this kind of very atmospheric bass. And this is what you should be listening to right now. And I wanted to try and play it on time, so that whenever you get to the beat, the next layer is actually going to play and be at the exact right time. And then when you get to the next part, you get the next layer, so that you can get to the entire song being played at the end as it escalates. And having a game understand the systems of beats and measures like in a song is kind of crazy. It would have to be the whole system. So we actually came up with a very simple situation at the end. After we went through a lot of iteration that failed miserably because it was completely off key and off beat. So it sounded wrong. Is actually right now we're playing the entire song. It's just we work directly with with Bright September, who recorded that song, and then I had them record like every single thing separately. So we got all of his instruments recorded separately. That happens, and then we play everything right now, but we mute all of the tracks that we don't actually need. And based on the player's actions, we're going to start unmuting those tracks, and then they're going to start layering up, and you'll see the build-up goes all the way till you enter the hallway in the end.
So we had a question about where this house is, like the specific house.
This is that guy to answer.
Storyline-wise, as far as players, I don't think
It's in England, but it's
I don't
so
think.
if they were like, it looks like Kingsman.
no, it's in England.
Oh,
She's
not New England. Okay.
yeah, England.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Old England.
Old England, not New England.
old England. Yeah, and obviously, like the most important part of that part is this little section I talked over was the firefighter talking to Emma, and then Emma, asking her for a name, her saying Anima, and him understanding Emma instead. And then over the year, everybody started calling her Emma, that she forgot the name, and then the entire point of this issue was for Anima herself to remember her own name. So, but let's move on to what I talked about. So again, another one of his transition as you get close to it. And we'll talk about, seamless transition. It's going to be the same thing here. Like you enter this house, and as soon as you go through it, you're actually going to be teleported to a different house. We're not actually shrinking the player because we wanted the player to be able to use everything the way we normally do. Is actually we have a different version of this house where everything is a lot bigger. And as soon as you cross that hallway, you get teleported there. So again, it's seamless, but now you can see this house from the point of view of a 3-year-old, which is like the age that Emma was when she was in there. So with the hidden letter, there's an achievement to find all these letters in there. I'm not gonna give them one away.
Give the letters.
And as you can hear, if I remember correctly, you should start hearing 2 of the layers now playing together, now that I'm in section. So if you're listening to the music, you'll see it's already a lot more vibrant than it was when I was outside. And then going into this room again, teleporting the player as you reach halfway to a section which is which allows you to get this really cool effect. And all of this is like this seamless teleport is very, very, very useful and very difficult, because for us it's like like the kind of thing we have to keep in mind is what happens if a player walks in this room and decide to walk, moonwalk into it and look behind. So whichever way you look at it, it's not like it's going to be the same. You just enter through that door, you have the whole house. If you go behind you, you'll see that door closing down and then the walls going from both ways. And then we added the final layer of the music here, and you can really hear that really, really good build-up that if you listen to the song again, now you recognize the section I'm talking about, which has this fantastic build-up. And here, like having the player sort of going back into his normal size, with very, very long corridor. And then this final section that the player actually gets back to, now I'm back to my normal size, and then I get back to this room. And another section which shows you, so Emma, like baby Emma, and having, again, this as a way of storytelling, of saying this is Emma the way she is now, and where she actually is. Like, you know, this is, all of this is a dream, and in reality, she's, you know, she's on a, she was on that bed where she got taken away from by Lilith, and you're in there trying to wake her up while she's actually being kidnapped by having to spell out a name. Don't know if you had anything else you wanted to...
No, you covered the little detail I liked about the firefighter asks her name, and she says, Anna, my name is here. It's a little story detail I like.
So here, this was probably one of my craziest idea of having this kind of a name being spelled out at the end, and our lead scripter, David, who implemented this, did like a really wonderful job, because, you know, when I asked him to say, oh yeah, I want players, you know, to be able to pick up like magnets and put them on the wall in any way they want, and, you know, put them back on the ground, and I think he probably punched me back then. I just tried to replace it. But he did such a fantastic job of having like something which is really, really easy to use. You understand what is going on. Like if you pick up a letter that you don't want, you can actually click on another letter and use it instead, and it will actually replace that M with an N, etc. And it's and then letters based on what you've discovered, the extra letters you have in there, like more of them will appear. So it's one of the most complex scripting we actually have in the game for a very simple gameplay experience at the end. But I thought it was cool because it was a way to allow players to really like use a message. Because, you know, the simpler way we could have done, like, because we have a system in game right now which allows players to pass a message and sending back to us, so we can see, you know, did you know the name was Anima? Do you still think it's Emma? Did you follow up what was going on? We could just use a ghost interface. But, you know, when you have this whole theme of being, you know, with a young child and everything, it would have been weird to just plug into a computer and just enter it this way. So it was, you know,
I wouldn't have felt right.
How can we make it cooler? And this was the solution, with a lot of work and one punch. Anima. I made it.
Did it.
She's happy. She wakes up.
You must wake up.
She wakes us up.
And she remembers
And
something.
now Emma is going to give away that bike.
Okay.
That's
All right,
the best
so,
transition I could come up with.
Yeah, I'm gonna put up the little splash thing again because you guys gotta see that awesome
Who
bike
will
that you're
get
gonna
the
be
motorbike?
we're gonna be doing a raffle for.
Waffles.
Waffle. We're doing another
Waffles.
waffle.
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna see if I
waffle.
can't change the command to
waffle?
That would be
Cookies and waffles.
Initiate the waffle. Chicken and waffles.
cookie waffles.
Cookie waffle. I like it.
And while we're taking entries for that, we can do a little Q&A because we have a few questions.
Yeah. Throw some questions.
I thought I said everything. I'm like,
no,
I'm trying
no,
to
but you
avoid
say
the...
stuff and then
This is a conversation.
yeah,
not
you
a
say
lecture.
stuff and then they want to talk about more stuff. So if you want to enter in to
There's
win
Louis.
a Franken chopper, you got to do exclamation raffle. Right now, you got to do it right now. So as we're waiting though, we did get a question from Derpzella who was
My
like,
name
hey,
is Anima.
have you guys thought about opening up newer areas like Las Vegas for the game and, you know, high profile places to visit for future issues?
I think of those things constantly because my job is not to be practical in any sort.
Who needs
That is
time,
true.
right?
It's
I'm here to be fancy.
I confirm.
My
Yeah, I
I
mean,
want you to come home with me.
we have so many locations planned for the future. I think we mentioned before is we have like everything completely planned all the way to issue 27, which includes a lot of new locations. Some locations are already hinted at heavily in the current state of the game. some of them are in our heads. It's
My name is not Emma.
yeah, I mean, there's so many things interesting in the world. I think it's a great thing about the TSW is anything is an inspiration. Anything that actually happens in the world as well is an inspiration. Because we get anything which might happen in the media is in the future we might decide to change some plans based on something which is bound to happen. I don't know. But the issue that we have always at the end is going to be the time that it takes to do things. So to answer specifically about Las Vegas, I will fight back with Caden, and it's one of those playfields that really made us go never again. It's the issue of doing something which is very completely urban. It takes a long time to make it look good, to make it like something which is acceptable, and to do anything with it. So as you've seen when you were waiting between like for those of you who were playing back then, the time that it took us to go from like issue 7 to issue 9, it took a long time, and even we were working with a playfield who was already started. That I would imagine Las Vegas would be just as difficult, if not more. I mean, it doesn't mean that we would never do it. It just means like with the current state of the game and the way we are, it's better for us to do like. I mean, first of all, we have a plan of a lot of other playfields before this, like for the story, and then if we end up suddenly getting finding a time machine and then getting like a much bigger team that would allow us to handle these kind of things, I'd be the first to want to embrace those locations.
A side story is Las Vegas might be cute, where you just end up in a casino and something bad happened. All right.
What could happen?
So for Josh here, for Scrivenomancer, will we see the fabled pilgrimage to Cape Town to meet Philip Marker? Maybe.
Who? Yeah. He definitely plays a part. I mean, he's Secret World public enemy, not so public enemy number 1. So finding him probably plays some kind of part in some narrative to come.
I hadn't thought about it at all, actually. It's
Oh, okay.
I forgot who.
Markard.
That was
never heard.
I can't say the
I will
name.
just say, is the picture of him and his family in the game anywhere? Or
It
is
should
that
be.
internal?
I think so,
Okay,
yeah.
because that picture, like we do lots of scary things. That picture still scares the shit out of me, just because it looks so cheerful, and I know what goes on in the Markard family, and I'm just like, oh.
So why is the filth? Easy Life wants to know, why is the filth afraid of Lilith?
Lilith.
It's not the film.
no.
It's John.
No.
John's, sorry. Yeah, that's a good distinction, actually. It's a good question.
Okay.
John is afraid of Lilith, and that is an emotion he carried from being a human.
Gotcha.
John's not the filth necessarily. Right now, he's kind of the mouthpiece because he's a more, he's a consciousness in a way that a human understands it, and not the way that the dreaming ones are. So that's why we're hearing so much from John, is because he knows how to talk to us, even better than the buzzing, really. The buzzing does its best and tries to approximate communication. But anyway, John was made to be afraid of Lilith, partially because he was a very fearful guy, and Markard made him even more afraid. He was trying to turn John into this weapon against Lilith, and he pushed that. I mean, there's good reasons to be afraid of Lilith, and he pushed that fear, and it ended up working against Markard. He did it too much because John set off that bomb just out of sheer terror prematurely, and. So becoming this entity that John now is, he's carried that fear over. So that's kind of like his bane. That's his, if you're a vampire, that's his cross. That's that's the thing that kind of repels him, and he's just terrified of Lilith.
What about her? Vomer is asking about her ring.
Ring, I believe that's.
So a ring, it is a third age
tech.
relic. I was really wondering. I was like, wow, you guys really pay attention to detail, and I didn't forget that in the Nightmarescape, like in John's Nightmare, you actually see a blown-up version of Lilith that really gives you a good hint at a ring. She's using like third age technology against the player or against John. It's obviously like most of the things that come from previous ages is very powerful, and this is just a taste of that power.
Yeah, and that was I think that was her height. Was that age? She was particular. She's been many
Yeah.
things. She's been mother to demons, priestess to various things, super scientist. And I think super scientist in the third age was kind of her. That was kind of the height of her power.
Interesting. I think we have time for one more question.
And actually, just one thing to add on John, and I think it's very important to make that differentiation between the filth. The filth is many things, as John said. The one in Caden is special in the fact that one, like it came out of the bomb and came out of John, and John is now half filth, half like we call him the Black Signal for that reason. He's able of hacking through radios and TVs and through the filth itself. And another hint that we have in there that the filth is not quite normal is it's the mission with Rum, where she notices that that the filth was attacking Yuichi's pants because he spread the bingo cola on it. And the biggest thing, and it's what we show as well, this kind of stuff is shown through Nightmarescape, that one of the section you actually see John going for the bingo machine and drinking from it. Like he's a really big fan of bingo. So as the filth now loves bingo, and it's kind
that's really cool.
It all makes sense.
The filth, the filth is it's a byproduct of the Dreaming Ones, as far as anyone knows, and it's very reactive. So different places that it pops up, it can take on different properties, or maybe different Dreaming Ones have different properties.
Yeah.
All things we'll be exploring more in the future.
Well, we have a couple questions about Samael.
Yes.
Yeah. So, whoops, that's the wrong one. Okay, sorry. Samael choosing Gaia over Lilith.
The important distinction is to remember the source you're getting information of. None of our characters are the mouthpiece of the game. And Lilith is very emotionally compromised in that scene. She's really mad at Samael. So whether or not Samael's declared himself for Gaia or anything, that just might be something she blurted out because she's, as we've seen, she's incredibly jealous. Like she doesn't like rejection.
Who does?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a typical like couple scene. Like at the end of the day, it's just like it's.
You were looking at her.
I know.
But we've seen how she reacts to that. Like even just with Emma, when she suspects Emma is saying no to her, she's like, I want to hug you. I want to hug the viscera out of you, and just like her feelings are genuine, but they're very twisted at this point. And this issue represents a very rough day for Lilith. We see a little bit different of a Lilith in upcoming issues.
So I guess we could maybe right before we end our raffle, because we got to give the spike away. Do we have any hints or information on what we can expect for the anniversary? Because we got quite a few questions. I know, but I have to ask.
The what? Crap.
What is that?
Honey, I'm sorry, I forgot.
No, we didn't forget.
Oh, and we should end right there.
And just
That'd be great.
what?
Yeah.
Just right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like Sopranos it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Just-
Oh, we should
Yeah,
do a
Fade to
Sopranos
black.
ending.
And that was the last time.
That should be the new thing. Every stream should end with a way that some HBO series ended.
Oh, we.
I'm not getting naked.
Oh, are you
That's
sure?
what we do.
It's
Can
weird that
we-
you just
can we
went
get some
straight
Dragon
there.
Eyes?
This is all I think when you say HBO is like it's the whole like
Game of
it's not
Thrones.
porn, it's
It's
HBO.
not porn, it's
It's
HBO.
If you haven't seen this, you should because it's
Google.
like that. Yeah, Google. It's
gosh.
not porn, it's HBO. It's really funny.
All right, I'm drawing. away. You.
I mean,
Sam, we have
anniversary-
another question about, go ahead.
Anniversary,
Oh,
we will give out more information about it soon. It's just we're working on some things. I mean, yeah, we have some stuff planned. It's just we don't want to talk about it just yet.
We have a headache tonight.
But it will coming like, the dates. We're aiming for the actual release date of the game originally, and we'll have something back then. But we're working on issue 12 at the same time. So it's one of these things where it goes into juggling and.
So we got to congratulate
Bad.
Chrome XL for
Chrome-
winning the
Chrome
bike.
XL?
Chrome XL. I think it's
Chrome
perfect.
XL?
Chrome XL.
Chrome XL.
Chrome XL, I can
Congratulations
say that.
for your
Like
Chrome
Chrome.
steed.
XL. That's a very Mad Max name.
That's cool.
That is very
Yeah.
Mad Max.
So.
Congrats on your bike, man.
That's awesome. Congratulations, dude. Or dudette. I
Or
don't
do
know.
that, yeah.
Whatever the nature of your dudeness.
So issue 7.
And that was issue 7. I mean,
That
one
was-
little thing I wanted to do, just because we talk so much about the music. I mentioned like we should maybe, if you guys want to listen to the entire song, if you don't already know the Sleepless Lullaby from Bright September.
Oh, we've already had links going through chat.
So Well, there you go. Have a look at the
Yeah,
links.
have a look
and,
at
you know,
that. And Bright September has some new stuff out
Oh,
very
cool.
recently. I
Yeah.
don't have the link on me. I'll probably link it on my Twitter if you go to visit me at Twitter, but or just Google Bright September. I think they've got 3 new songs that are out. Maybe.
I feel like I should have
That's
like
I haven't
a-
even listened to them yet. I
I
have
should
it
have
on
a
my
Coke
tabs.
bottle and just say
Yeah, right.
Yes.
product
Bright
placement.
September.
Wait, why we need a poster? We gotta do that. All right.
Well, that's it, folks. I think we're just about on time.
A little over, but that's cool. We took some
A
cool
little bit over.
questions. We took some cool questions.
I think
Thanks
we-
for the
we did
question.
some
That was
good
great.
today.
We will see you in a couple of weeks. We will have more reveals coming. Like I'm very low on teas for this particular issue, but it's because we postpone everything to the next one. So tune in.
We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. We have the August item of the month vote going on right now, so
All
be
right.
sure to visit the forums. And we hope you enjoyed issue 7.
Yep.
Dun, dun.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you. See ya.